Welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name is Grant. Today I am unboxing a new game from Flying Pig Games. In fact, it's fresh off of their Kickstarter. And Flying Pig Games normally does fairly heavy war games, hex encounter, tactical level, etc. Very good games, solid games, great production. This game is designed by Mark Holt Walker, the owner of Flying Pig Games and one of their main designers. But it's not necessarily a war game. It is a card and dice game where you, as the players, are taking on the role of French resistance leaders during World War II, after the Nazis have taken over France and are occupying it. So the game uses cards, it uses dice, and is a very light, interactive, fast-playing, fun, a lot of take that. You're going to sometimes use your dice and other things to hurt other players. But it's very light and it's very fun. We enjoyed it. We played this at Origins 2019 with Herman Luttman and Mark Walker. Herman ended up winning. He cheated. It will go down in history as one of the greatest travesties in wargaming annals. But no, he didn't cheat. But the game is very fun. It is... once again, a small game. You can see the box is very small. So this is portable. You could take this to, say, Thanksgiving or Christmas and play it with family. People don't have to be into history to really like it. They don't have to like war games to like it. I really think it's a very cool game. Great looking box. And once again, I said it's a very small box. Let's flip it over to the back. You've got some of the details. There's kind of a close-up look at the back. We'll talk about those things. But 13 plus, 3 to 5 players, and it takes about he says 44 minutes there. If I remember right, it was 35 to 45 minutes. So it's can be a very quick playing game depending on how people understand the rules and understand the cards. So, and then I've got some stuff here. These were Kickstarter extras. The neoprene playmat. Obviously not necessary to play the game, but a very nice addition. We've got some upgraded dice. I'll talk about those in a minute. And then some extra cards. So we'll cover those once I get the box open. So without further ado, let's go ahead and open the box. First thing you notice is the little rule booklet. It's 12 pages, so the rules are not very dense. They're fairly simple. Basically, there are going to be these mission cards that are laid out. Here you can see in the middle of this playmat. There are mission cards that will be drawn and laid out. And then players will have a certain number of dice to roll each turn. Sometimes they might have more dice, depending on their special character's abilities. They'll roll those dice, and then they have to cover up these spaces in order to complete or accomplish that mission. Once that mission is accomplished, it gives you a certain amount of victory points. Sometimes it gives you counters and tokens and other abilities and things that you can use. But ultimately, you're trying to get your victory points, which are referred to as glory points. So you roll those dice. It's very, very simple. These, and we'll talk about the passport cards. These are kind of your papers for your characters in the French Resistance. But it's a fairly simple game. The player that gets to 12 victory points first is going to win the game. And one of the things I really liked about it is the game has a lot of take that element to it. You can win certain missions and it's going to tell you steal a couple of glory points from a player. I think you can also use a 6 result on a dice or a die that you've rolled to also steal a glory point. And ultimately, that's the goal. So it's one of those things, once one player gets in the lead by 2 or 3 victory or glory points, people will start piling on and it becomes kind of a laugh fest. People are going back and forth and having a good time. So the first thing you see here is a very, very small counter sheet. It has some dice tokens and then some other status tokens. And I don't know that I can remember exactly what these are. I do know that these are ammo. But very nice counters. Let's go ahead and pop one of those out. They're pre-rounded, very well made. You're going to be able to use these over and over again and not, you know, they're going to wear like anything, but they're going to wear fairly well, I think. I talked about the different characters, and these are their papers or passports or whatever you want to call them for that time. There are 9 of them, I think. 4, 5, 7 of them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they each have very nice production. You can see here it says passport on the back. They're fairly thick. They're going to hold up well to a lot of different plays. And each of these is unique. So the game is asymmetric in the fact that each player has a different set of skills and abilities. Yeah, so I'm not going to give you the whole rules explanation, but the character has a name, a picture. These are recruits. Recruits are basically, I think, used to get dice or extra dice. Here's your track for your glory points. And then each person has a skill. So here it says, helpful. They're helpful. Receive 2 glory points by giving 1 resistance member to a rival band. Limit 1 per turn. Background, they have kind of a little background to get you into the player. Here's the other guy, or another guy, Brad Lataub Miller. Lucky Dog, reroll 1 die per turn. That becomes very valuable anytime you can reroll. Charismatic, pay a 5 die to steal 1 resistance member from a rival band per turn. A rival band is just a player and their group of resistance. So it's like you're playing different groups of resistance fighters, and each player is controlling their own. Here's another one, Jody Grand, Demolitions Expert. Receive a 5 token per turn, and then they can use that as a 5 result on a die. So fairly, but you can see there's differences. I think that's cool because it adds once again, some asymmetry to the game, and it's not going to be the same thing over and over again where you're just playing the same people over and over again. So here we've got a deck of cards, and there are a couple different types of cards. So you can see the backs of these cards, sorry. You have some mission cards, and that's a majority of the deck. These are the ones that you're going to have to accomplish. Sorry, there's a mission. And then you've got event cards that are going to affect things in a certain way. And then these, I can't remember what these are. Your cruelness to friend and foe alike has marred your reputation. Target player loses 3 glory. Yikes. So these are cards that I think you have and can play against your opponents. You earn these by doing different things. Let's real quickly look at the mission cards. But once again, remember, there's going to be, and then there's different types of cards. Like this is a building, this is a German thing, and then this is a resistance task where you're trying to accomplish these different things. And there's a bunch of them. These are just card numbers at the top. They have a title, a picture, some kind of either restriction or benefit when you beat them. And then here you can see these. To complete this, you need to cover all of these symbols with dice that you roll or tokens. So you can see this one, and I think that, I can't remember what the, yeah, you're going to have to watch the play video when we do that, or the review video. One of the cool things about this game, another thing, and I'll when I talk about the dice, is you may only be rolling 3 or 4 dice, but if you roll a 6 on a die, you then grab a blue die and you roll what's called an exploding die. So if you then roll a 6 again, you're going to grab another blue die and roll it again. So you might be rolling 3 to 5 normal dice and then have 2 or 3 6s and roll 2 or 3 other dice. So those are your resources that you're trying to use to accomplish these missions. And there's a bunch of them. So each game's going to be different. If I remember correctly, you have 3 or 4 of the 3 out at a time, so that every player has something to choose from. Once they're completed, you simply draw another one off the top of the deck. I think you're going to see anywhere from 10 to 15 of these a game, depending on how many players. So you could play through this game 2, maybe 3 times before you see all of those event cards. But once again, this is a card game, so you would expect that cards are a big part of what you're doing. So these are those event cards. Sometimes these things just happen. Lull in fighting, an era of deafening silence has broken out over France. No action. Lull in the fighting, same thing. Same thing. Vichy forces. One of our scouts has been stopped at the checkpoint and is being searched. Lose 1 recruit if the above dice is not covered. So these are going to come out sometimes in addition, and you have to take care of those or you're going to have different negative effects. These are basically the partisan cards, if I remember correctly, and they're what you do to hurt other players. So there's a lot of different options. The cards are really nice stock, so you're going to play those quite a few times and not really tear them up. So here is a look at the base dice bag. You'll notice they are sealed for freshness, but you can see there are 6 normal 6-siders. Let's go ahead and open those up. Very nice dice, actually. The blue ones are translucent, and then the white dice, you obviously can't see through them at all. But these are the exploding dies. So the blue ones are the exploding. So if you're rolling, remember, if you're rolling 5 dice, oh, I didn't roll any 6s, but oh, look, I rolled a 6. You're then going to grab a blue die and roll that, and then that's simply another resource that you can use to match the requirements of your mission cards. Now, one of the Kickstarter benefits that Mark sent to us were the upgraded dice, and these are much, much nicer. Also sealed for freshness. Let me go ahead and take those out. You can see they have symbols. It's interesting, Alexander and I talk, the symbol is not your 6. A lot of times the symbol is the 6, the symbol is a 1. So that's the resistance symbol, and then you obviously have the swastika, or I'm sorry, not the swastika, the Iron Cross. I apologize. But you have the Iron Cross embossed on the dice. So those are really nice. There, I just threw a blue die halfway across the screen. Very nice dice, I think. The only other things that I want to look at, and I don't know that I'm going to take these out and go through each and every one of them. These are 2 extra packs of cards that were Kickstarter exclusives. They are the Guerrera cards. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher that and you're going to be mad at me. And then you have the Gestapo cards. And these are just additional cards that are incorporated into the play. Here I've kind of slit these packs. I'll pull out some of the Gestapo cards. But they're an event and they have the Gestapo on the back. But here you can say low ammo. The Germans destroyed our ammo reserves. Lower each die by 1. So if that comes out, you're going to roll a die and a 6 becomes a 5. So my question is, does that stop an exploding die? Potentially, but maybe not. So you can see there's quite a few of those. Those are just extra event cards. And then here you have the resistance cards. Let's pull those out. I like it when a Kickstarter does these kinds of things because it just gives you more options and abilities to improve the game. So here's a look at it. Diversionary attack. While the Americans attack their flank, we will slip away. Ignore 1 enemy card. So you're going to have these. These are in your hand, and you can use them to do different things. Plan Violet. Destroy the phone lines, but if the Boche can't talk, neither can you. Targeted resistance leader rolls 1 less die. So that's one where you're going to take that. You're going to make one of your opponents roll 1 less die this turn. So those are a look at the Gestapo cards and the extra resistance cards, take that cards. But once again, I think this is a very nice looking game. It is a very fun to play game. We had a great time with this. We played it once with Mark and Herman, like I said, and it was fun. I really enjoyed it. It's something that now that I have a copy, I've talked to Alexander. We would love to have Kelly and Paisley, our wives, play with us and maybe even video that game because I think it would be a blast. if you've ever played with your spouse or even your children, I know my children do this. They always target you no matter what. No matter whether it will help them or not, they seem to want to target you. But that's something we've talked about, is getting together with the 4 of us and trying to play this game, because it looks like it would be a blast with the 4 of us. So there you go. La Resistance from Flying Pig Games, a game designed by Mark Holt Walker, dice and card game. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully we'll get around to playing this with the two of them, 4 of us, and we'll have another video shot, and maybe we'll have a future video here coming up reviewing it, as well as maybe a playthrough video. So there you go. Appreciate you watching, and I've been Grant for the Player's Aid.